Two title contenders in the Busch Series have combined for 11 wins this season, but only one can drive off with a championship. 3 races to go. Time to see who's tough enough to beat the heat in Phoenix.
Oh, look out! Look out! There they go! Truex into the wall, one of the championship contenders. And the 5, Kyle Busch is involved.
The hood is beat up pretty good, guys.
They both pointed fingers at each other.
The championship leader is in trouble. Busch not able to get up and make a move.
NBC Sports welcomes you to NASCAR Busch Series Racing from Phoenix, presented by Energizer. Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch have battled since the start of the season in Daytona nearly 8 months ago. Now, with just 3 races remaining, the chase for the Busch Series championship heats up in Phoenix. Hi, everybody. Our NBC Race family welcomes you to Arizona. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Bill Weber. How tough is it going to be to win this race today? Well, 14 guys that are entered in the Nextel Cup race here tomorrow are in this event this afternoon. Martin Truex Jr. is the championship leader. He has a 176-point margin over Kyle Busch. Today, Truex tries to tighten his grip on that title, while Busch must close the gap. Let's start with that part of the story, and here's Dave Burns.
Bill, last week in the Nextel Cup race, Kyle's brother Kurt had engine trouble, and all the guys chasing him in the championship made up as many as 148 points. Kyle, you're 176 back of the 8 car here. Are you believing the championship is still within reach?
It's definitely still within reach. Obviously, all we need is something to happen to the 8 car 1 or 2 weeks. 2 weeks would be great, but 1 is just enough to get us back into the shop for coming down the home stretch to Homestead. So we're just going to do all we can. That's all we've done all year long with the Lowe's Gladiator Garage Works Chevrolet. We started on a pole, so if we lead the most laps today and win the race, that's all we could do.
He said it. He started off the week well, qualifying on the pole. Matt, to Matt Yoakum.
Dave, Martin Truex Jr. knows the championship landscape with 3 races to go. In the spring, he finished 4th at Darlington and nearly won Homestead last fall, finishing 2nd. But Martin, you've never raced here at Phoenix. How well have you acclimated yourself to this mile?
I think we've done pretty good. You know, our car hasn't been the best all weekend. I think I've been trying to learn, how to get my car to get around here more than I've been trying to learn the track. So hopefully we can, get our Long John Silver's car up front. It's going to be a long race. We need to, be smart and make the right adjustments like every weekend. Hopefully we can find ourselves somewhere in the front at the end.
3 times this year, he's won races at racetracks he'd never raced on before. He'll try for number 4 today. To Marty Snyder.
Matt, for Rusty Wallace, it's all about the win today. Career start number 36 in the Busch Series, but the bigger question, can you get win number 1 in the Busch Series, Rusty?
That'd be great. I got a great pit crew. I feel like I got a great car, and I'm going to get working on a setup. Once the race gets going, I hope we've hit it pretty close. The thing that gets me is I'm gritty right now because the setup that's in this car is what I had in my Cup setup this morning, and it was pretty good, but I can make it better. And then later we got the Cup car a lot faster. I'm like, man, I wish we could have put that in this car right now, but at least I know what to adjust on.
In his only Busch Series start this year, he finished 6th at Michigan. Dave?
Wally Dellenbach qualified 24th, so I just had a long run. Wally, go ahead.
Let me help you out, Dave. Wally, do you think you can make it to the front starting back here in 24th? Well, Dave, I think I can. If I keep it clean, I think I can get to the front. Well, why would you say that? Well, one thing that we've done a little bit different is we're running a lot more gear than a lot of these guys that are today. We're hoping the track slowed down. We're hoping those RPMs work for us. So we're going to try to take it to the front. Wally, thanks a lot and good luck. Thank you, Dave.
Bill?
I wonder who gets the paycheck for that one, huh? Today it's 200 laps for the Busch Series. Tomorrow it's NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing from Phoenix, presented by Subway. And our live NBC Sports coverage begins at 3 o'clock Eastern Time with the Discover Card Countdown to Green. Jimmy Johnson 2nd in the standings. Currently, after the big win last week, will be going after his 4th straight victory. Jimmy will start from the 13th position. Once again, Ryan Newman will lead this field to the green flag. He's on the pole for tomorrow's race. And championship leader Kurt Busch, after finishing 42nd in Atlanta 1 week ago, will have to come from the 28th starting spot to get to victory lane. So Busch has his work cut out for him. While Johnson starts 13th, it's Newman on the pole, and the championship contenders are scattered throughout the field. It'll be something to watch. Our coverage begins tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern time with the Discover Card Countdown to Green right here on NBC. And remember, tomorrow, if you miss the countdown, you will start the race a lap down. A number of stars from the Nextel Cup Series in this race today, including Casey Kane, looking for a win in the Busch Series. And again, he will be in tomorrow's race here from Phoenix as well. Right now, the fans standing by, and we'll take you trackside here at the Phoenix International Raceway in Arizona and join the public address system for today's pre-race ceremonies.
With today's invocation, PIR Chaplain Ken Bowers.
Join me in a moment of prayer, please. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for every blessing of life, many of which we take for granted. But now this afternoon, on the occasion of the running of the Bashas 200 here at Phoenix International Raceway, we once again humbly ask you for safe racing. May you protect each and every driver, crew member, official, and we especially thank you for the faithful fans who are here as we enjoy the wonderful sport of NASCAR racing this afternoon. And it is all of this we ask and pray in your name, and everyone said amen.
And to perform our national anthem, international recording artist, Tiffany.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
It's Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, and the talented roster of Busch Series regulars taking on Jamie McMurray, Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth, Mark Martin, Michael Waltrip, and more. The Command is next, live on NBC.
NASCAR Busch Series Racing from Phoenix, presented by Energizers. Brought to you by Energizer. Keep going. By YJ Stinger, the extreme energy drink. Catch the buzz and feel the sting. By the Mr. Clean Auto Dry Car Wash. Never dry your car again. And by Midas, for mechanics known for their work and their word. Trust the Midas touch.
Today, Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch continue their pursuit of the Busch Series championship. But make no mistake about it, 43 drivers in this race, and they all have a strong desire to make that final turn into victory lane and join the list of Busch Series winners at Phoenix. Already on that list, names like Jeff Gordon and Jeff Burton. And speaking of Jeff Burton, he's got a pretty good seat for this race right there between Alan Bestwick and Benny Parsons. Alan?
Bill, thanks. Jeff, with 2 Nextel Cup wins here to go along with his Busch Series victory, I think we got a pretty good source to tap into for the day. Jeff, you just came off the track from Nextel Cup final practice in your AOL Chevy. What kind of conditions, what kind of challenge do these drivers face today?
Well, I think they're really going to be surprised how slick this racetrack is. The last time these guys were on the racetrack was in the morning. Right now, the sun's out. It's hot. This track is not going to be the same. It's going to be very slick.
And Benny, throughout the Busch Series and Nextel Cup practice here this weekend, we've seen one trouble spot, tricky turn 4.
I don't know what it is, because when I walked to the NASCAR Busch Series garage, several cars have brushed the right side of their car with turn 4 wall. This morning in NASCAR Nextel Cup happy hour, Michael Waltrip gets high off turn 4 in the outside retaining wall, and he goes, I don't know if it's a flat tire or just something up there. Jeff Burton, tell me, what's going on in turn 4?
Well, I think there's one reason for all these problems, and you're looking at it right now. There's a patch. The tunnel runs underneath the racetrack. They put a new patch in there last year. That patch has a tremendous amount of grip, but when you get off of that patch, there's no more grip. So the car's pointed one way. When you get on it, it points another. You get in the wall.
So we'll see what kind of toll turn 4 exacts on the afternoon, and follow that race for the championship between Martin Truex and Kyle Busch as well through the checkered flag. Let's go trackside and get things started.
And now for those most famous words in all of motorsports, Vice Chairman of the Board of Directors of Bashas, Johnny Basha.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
A star-studded field ready to go at Phoenix. Oh, and Wally, too. The green flag is next. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. NBC Sports live at Phoenix International Raceway for NASCAR Busch Series Racing, presented by Energizer. You see the field of 43 starters rolling from the pit lane out onto the track to begin their parade and pace laps. We are going to show you the starting lineup while Benny talks to the man inside of row 2 that everyone thinks is the favorite to win today.
Jimmy McMurray, Benny Parsons, you got me?
Yeah, loud and clear, Benny.
In talking to garage, you're the car to beat. What's up with it?
Our car's been good from the time we unloaded. We tested here a few weeks ago, and haven't really had to change anything on it. Brian's done a really good job putting it together, and we can keep our nose clean and have good pit stops and not make any errors. We're going to be in really good shape when things over with.
And you noticed I call you McMurray, didn't you notice that?
You're doing good. Been practicing that grammar, I can see.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Good luck to you.
You want to let us in on the joke?
He came up to me and said that a fan of his had an autograph sign and said, when is Benny going to learn how to pronounce your name? Your name is not McMurray. It's McMurray. I guess I've been saying like so.
That's just a little North Carolina.
Yeah, maybe it's a little southern accent.
Twang on there, yeah. Big
I
field
thought it was
car.
Matt Murray.
No, that's somebody else.
I'm sorry.
Joe Nemechek had to change an engine. He has to give up the 10th starting spot and go to the back of the field.
And look at all the cars that failed to qualify. Man, Kevin LePage didn't make it.
54 cars to try and make the field. Couple laps of pace action here before we get the green flag. Gives us time to check some stories on pit road and hear about a couple of more competitors in their race. Matt, you go first.
Alan, last year, Kevin Harvick nearly won this race, finishing second. Now, there's no question that he's got a very fast race car today, but there is question about his brakes. They chased a soft pedal issue during the final practice session this morning. They changed everything in the braking area, the calipers, the rotors, the master cylinder, and the pads, but they won't know if they fixed the problem until the first lap when he dives it off into turn 1. He rolls off from the 6th position today. Dave?
Matt, Greg Biffle hated to see the month of October go. No wins, but 2 runner-up finishes, and the worst he finished in October was 5th. This weekend, he qualified by 3/10 off the pole. Not that great in his opinion, but his car will be a factor in the race today. He's a former winner here in both the Busch Series and the Truck Series. Marty?
Dave, last week's winner in Atlanta, Matt Kenseth, said he would love to win today's race to make it 2 straight, but he needs a lot of help from some friends today. Number 1, his car sliding all over the racetrack. They did make several changes this morning trying to get the handle on the 17 car a little better. But he said number 2, Jamie McMurray and Greg Biffle are going to have to slow down at the beginning of the run because Matt, not very good at the beginning of a run, but very good at the end of the run. And he said if they'll just wait on me, I'll be okay. Maybe I can catch them. The 17 car today, Alan, starts 17.
And will set off in search of his 4th win of this season.
Think they're going to wait for him?
No.
I don't either.
Yeah, that's a good bet. All right, Jeff, you talked about earlier, these guys practiced yesterday morning, about 9 a.m., when the weather was much cooler than it is today. What about these first few laps from inside the race car?
I think some people have hit it right, and I think the majority of people would not have hit it right. The first adjustment, first pit stop is going to be critical to try to get something done to fix your car if it's not good enough. the first segment is going to really be crucial to who can win this race based on the fact of fixing your car, what's wrong with it on that first stop.
Rusty Wallace on board with them. He'll be carrying the camera today as he tries to work his way to the front. Shane Meal really had a great run going in Atlanta.
Huge crowd here in Phoenix, as always, on their feet. Pace car is off, and green flag is out.
This is a racetrack that has 2 grooves, but you're going to want to be on the bottom, especially on new tires. But you see Bill, he's trying real hard to get to the bottom, and he did. You can run the second groove, but the inside's the best.
Oh, 46 car of Ashton Lewis and the 27. Johnny Sauter almost glued together. One in turn 3.
Kyle Busch leads lap 1, 5 bonus points toward the championship for him. And this is the race for 4th. Sauter in the 27, wobble there.
Yeah, he got real loose getting off of 2 there, and now Robbie Gordon's taking advantage of that.
And Robbie Gordon trying to use that outside line. He will, and take that spot away. Gordon in the 55 car.
You talk about people wanting to get to the bottom. Looks like they've done that back to about the first 13, 14 cars or so, Jeff.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, the track position is so important. You don't want to give up anything, even though it's still, 200 laps to go, 197 to go. You got a smoker. Right place.
And a caution. Is that Robert Presley? It is. And
flat left rear, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He doesn't even have a tire on the left rear.
Well, that would cause some smoke, wouldn't it?
Yeah, when that tire came off, it certainly would. I never see the tire, and that's one reason for the caution flag, to get that piece of debris off the track.
Wonder if he slipped into that wall off turn 4. Well, he couldn't have. It's the left side of the car. Well, we'll try and find out what happened to Robert and have that for you when we come back to Phoenix. That's Ray Holm, Michael Waltrip's team. He's carrying our crew cab today here at Phoenix International Raceway.
Tire changer on the 99 car, driven by Michael Waltrip.
In this early incident with Robert Presley, as Ray takes a drink, Joe Nemechek got some pretty good damage to his right front, Dave.
And you know how you noticed that the tire came off of Robert Presley's car? Guess whose right front fender it slammed into? That was Joe Nemechek's, and disappointing for them. They thought they had a really great car today. It's been damaged early in the race, and part of the deal is going to the back, guys. That hurt him.
Extended caution to clean up a lot of the debris. We'll take advantage of that to squeeze in another break. Back with restart. Getting ready for a restart here at Phoenix International Raceway with Kyle Busch leading the Bashas 200. About to complete the 8th of 200 laps on this 1-mile Phoenix International Raceway.
Jeff, how many laps will these cars run before the tires start giving up and losing some speed?
Well, they'll start losing speed fairly quickly, and then it'll start falling off. Then it seems like it levels off. So new tires are going to be important. I think that when you get a caution a little bit later, you're going to want to come in and put tires on for sure. It's not one of those places where I think you can come in and put 2 tires on and have much success. I think you're going to have to.
That little bottleneck going on in 4th place.
They were trying to get 3 wide down the backstretch. Robbie Gordon, Ashton Lewis, and Johnny Sauter couldn't quite make it. Here comes Sauter trying to get on the inside of Robbie Gordon. He's there.
Not quite.
He got a good grip.
Yeah, he did.
Johnny Sauter trying to move up after losing a couple spots in the early going. Marty?
Hey, trying to get some spots back, trying to make that pass work on Robbie Gordon, but you see just how hard it is to pass here at Phoenix. Talked to Johnny before the race. He said, we're really confident. Car is very good. They've made very few changes this weekend, and the worst he's finished here at Phoenix is 11th. Johnny Sauter very confident this weekend and continuing trying to make that pass on Robbie Gordon. Matt?
Kevin Harvick watching the 55 and 27 going side by side. He told crew chief Ricky Byers under the caution, the car is tight from the center and off, but he's waiting for the air pressure to come up. About the brakes, he told Ricky the brakes feel fine. Ricky said, I feel much more relieved now.
Yeah, they were very concerned about that brake problem on the 21 car, and had dial indicators out, checking run out in rotors and all that stuff this morning. But hopefully they have that cured. Brakes are a problem here. You've got to have some air going to them to cool them. If you get them too hot, you always stand that chance of melting the right front tire.
Yeah, brakes are really important. You've got to be able to drive in the corner deep and get on those brakes. And as you can see here, the outside groove works pretty good. I mean, this is a good 2-groove racetrack, even though it's a short track. It's got 2 grooves. Robbie was able to hold Sauter off. But Sauter's not going to quit trying, I can tell you that.
The front three kind of broken away as these guys were messing around for 4th place. So Kyle Busch and Greg Biffle and Jamie McMurray are gone from this race, which is 4th, 5th, 6th, and so on back.
You know, they might take offense to you saying they're messing around.
They were racing around, messing around. Well,
they're working hard, aren't they, Benny?
As hard as they can, yes. See, Ashton Lewis has been able to put 2 or 3 car lengths on Robbie Gordon. I think Robbie Gordon is being a little more defensive than he is offensive right now because Johnny Sauter all over the back of that 55 car.
Yeah, Sauter's pretty fast. He looks like he's a little bit loose off 2 and can't quite get that run he needs off of 2 to get by Robbie.
All right, so let me rephrase that. While they were messing around racing with each other, the leaders got away by 3.5 seconds. How's that?
The leaders are gone.
Yeah. Check out this. Talk about being in the middle of the soup. There's Wally in the 35.
The 2-car Ron Hornaday trying to take a spot away. That's back for the 26th, 27th position. Jimmy Spencer in 74. And Hornaday takes that spot away, Marty.
He's coming. He's going somewhere in the BP.
He is.
As you would say. Hornaday told me he was embarrassed by how bad they qualified back in 35th. He said, we're going to go to the front. And he has tons of experience here. He said, I know that I can get to the front, but this is a short race. I have to be patient, but at the same time, I need to be aggressive. I need to get to the front. And that's where Hornaday's going. Car very good. They've made a lot of changes on the 2-car this morning.
You know, I was thinking about, we see some smoke coming out of the back of the 74 car driven by Jimmy Spencer. I was thinking walking up here this morning that 200 laps in stock car racing is a short race.
It is a short race, but that is 200 miles. I mean, it's not exceptionally short. These aren't quick laps. It takes a little while to get around here. It's almost 28, 29 seconds. So this won't be a short race by any means. And we tend to have a few cautions during this race as well.
But it is a short race in a strategic sense. You're only going to get a couple of cracks at pit road in this race. And, you know, you heard Rusty Wallace when we interviewed him before the race talking about adjusting on his car and things like that. Rusty, in these Busch Series races, you're not getting that many cracks at it.
That's why I believe that this first segment of the race will determine the winner, because the guy that makes the right changes on his car at the next pit stop, he will have the best chance to win. It's hard to pass here. This is a 2-groove track, but if you lose track position with only a few laps left, you won't, I don't care how good your tires are, how fast your car is, you won't catch the leader. So track position with a good car, that's how you're going to win this race.
Hornaday goes by the 43, Aaron Fike.
How about our championship leader, Martin Truex, BP? He's running in 8th, trying to chase Kevin Harvick for 7th.
I bet Dave's going to tell us something about the 8 car.
You think? Let's try it.
Benny, he had a discussion with his crew chief, Kevin Mannion, during the break about what the car was doing. He said it's sliding around a lot, but the balance is really pretty good. Mannion radioed back that he thinks he'll go down on air pressures all the way around on their first stop to try to correct that.
Yeah, Kevin Mannion was not very optimistic about their chances of winning today. They feel like they'll have maybe a top 10 car, maybe even a top 5 car, but they're going to have, as you talked about, Jeff, they're going to have to make perfect adjustments on that first stop if they're going to win.
And they find a way to do it. You know, every single week they get the best at the end of the race. So I wouldn't count this group out. Those guys are really good at making their car better or keeping it good during the race. I wouldn't count that 8 car out of this race by any means.
Michael Waltrip, 99. Jimmy Spencer, 74. That's 28th place they're racing for.
So Mike Waltrip started 37, so he is marching forward on board with Michael.
Some debris on this camera there. I don't know if 74 is leaking water or something.
Saw him smoking just a moment ago.
Yeah.
How about a race for 10th place? How about 5th place? Johnny Sauter, Robbie Gordon.
And finally, it's only taken him 20 laps, but Sauter gets by the 55 car. Matt, what about the 55? He got problems?
The BP, he's been fighting a tight condition pretty much all weekend, and that's carried over to the race. The car not bad. He did drop one spot from 5th to 6th, but that's what he's saying. It's still tight.
And what Matt is talking about, when he goes to the corner and turns the steering wheel, the car doesn't want to turn. It wants to go straight. And in our terminology, that's called tight.
And the problem with that is if it started out tight, it's only going to get tighter. If you're tight when the race starts and they drop the green flag, chances of that getting better for you during that run are pretty slim. You tend to get tighter and tighter.
Now the championship leader Truex working on Robbie Gordon for 7th place. Kyle Busch out in front for all of the 22 laps that have been run so far. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. NASCAR Busch Series Racing from Phoenix, presented by Energizer, is brought to you by Energizer. Keep going. By Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Life's good between Reese's Cups. And by Goodyear Assurance with Triple Tread technology.
The battle for the lead is heating up. 5 car. Kyle Busch has led every lap so far, the first 28, but the 41 of McMurray is closing in.
And they have caught the end of the field and got a little lap traffic to complicate the situation.
It's Jason Jefferson in the 24 car that sees those fellas coming, moves over, lets them go. As he should.
Also kind of takes away McMurray's racing room a little bit to try and make that move for the lead.
We were watching during the break. It looks like the 41 is really fast in 1 and 2, and the 5 is fast in 3 and 4. And so they make about equal lap time, just doing it different ways. But this is a 41 strong point. You can see him really pull up on the 5 here, although the 5 has some lap traffic. But then the 5 will tend to pull away from him through the middle of 3 and 4, where they're going into right now.
Steve Grissom in 93 goes a lap down to the leaders.
Former series champion. There's Mark Green in the 26.
Also going a lap down. And
more.
And, you know, some folks talk about, well, slower cars, you know, you shouldn't be able to keep up with the leaders. I love slow cars out there because it gives these guys something to drive around. And you got to use some strategy to get around these fellas.
Yeah, it does. It as a leader of the race, of course, you know, the 5 car has his hands full because he has somebody to deal with. But as the leader of the race, or no matter where you're running, when you're running by yourself, you're glad to see other cars. It helps you stay focused. And of course, the lap cars in this situation, they have the right to do everything they can to stay in the lead lap. And then, once they get past, they have the right to do everything they can to stay the first car behind the leader, because he'll get the free pass when the caution comes out. So we've seen the lap cars race really hard, as we're seeing here, to make it 3 wide.
Oh, battle for the lead. McMurray's on the bottom. Kyle Busch has to give way, doesn't he? No, he doesn't. Maintains the lead. Wow.
A little double wide lap traffic in front of them. Sorts itself out.
Uh-oh. Mike McLaughlin in the wall hard, looks like.
Caution flag.
Looks like all the tires are up.
That doesn't look like a flat tire. Looks like it just got a little bit high.
McLaughlin running 24th at the time. And we have the second yellow flag of this race. And back to what you said a second ago.
Transmission just went. Huh.
About the lap cars, Jeff. Derek Cope, staying the first one behind the leader, is going to get the lucky dog.
There's at turn 4. Just brushing the wall off turn 4.
That's the corner we talked about.
Yep.
So the transmission was before or after?
I don't know.
Well, it had to be after, because he was coming off the corner. It wouldn't have. If the transmission would have broken, somebody would have run over him from behind. But
he thinks it's a transmission. What he did, when he hit the wall with the right rear, he probably broke an axle of the gear, because that right rear tire stopped, and the engine was still turning 8,000 RPM. Something had to give.
All right, so we get 3 sets of tires under caution today. Unlimited under green. We got our first caution, lap 35. I say everybody pits.
Okay.
You think so?
That's what I think.
You think? All right, we'll see. So what kind of crew chief you would be?
Well, I'd pit.
Yeah, but you drivers always want tires.
That's right.
Every time you can get them. All right, let's see. Kyle Busch, Jamie McMurray, Greg Biffle, Johnny Sauter, Ashton Lewis. Your top 5 as the field comes to the pit road open signal. And so far, you are exactly right, sir.
Here they all come. Marty, coming to you.
Indeed, BP, some changes on the 41 pit crew this week. Kind of a Ganassi all-star team made up of all Cup crew members on the 41 car. Jamie McMurray says the car is a little bit loose, half round of wedge in the left rear, 240 on the water, so they're going to pull the bottom piece of tape. Matt?
Marty leader Kyle Busch is in. He said the car is a little loose on entry. He says, I can't get back in the throttle as quick as I'd like on the exit. They're going to make a track bar adjustment. The crew member cranks on it now. Also going to make an air pressure adjustment for Busch. He's out of the way, Dave.
Greg Biffle has a very loose race car. Pit stall is halfway down in turn number 1. They've taken a spring rubber out of the right rear to tighten the car up. He'll not win the race off of pit road. 2 cars go by, and now Biffle leaves.
Well, looks like the top 3 held serve on the pit stop.
The big winner there was a 66 car. Westy Wallace picked up a bunch of spots under this caution.
And I think Tony Raines in the 00 took just right side tires, came in 19th. He's going to come off about 6th or 7th. Under caution here at Phoenix. We're back for the restart.
Green flag.
Back racing here at Phoenix with Kyle Busch, the leader.
All right, Jeff, they've made their adjustments. We'll see what happens now. Will all these cars continue to run 1, 2, 3, or has someone made the proper adjustments and picked up some speed?
See Rusty Wallace as the ticker comes by up to 5th place. Tony Raines to 7th from 19th. Right side tires only on his pit stop. Martin Truex Jr. back to 12th. Lost a couple spots on his pit stop. He overshot his pit, had to get pushed back a little bit before they could work on his car.
Under NASCAR rules, you have to be inside that pit box. And when you aren't, you got to be pushed back inside before the pit stop can take place.
Aaron's pit summary, holding serve the top 2. Johnny Sauter.
Oh, man. Had such high hopes for that 27 car. It comes in 4th, goes all the way back to 16th. It's a tough sledding from back there.
And it really is tough to pass here. Plus, he's frustrated. You know what I mean? He was running well and come in the pits and lose that many spots. And so now he's frustrated. He's probably overdriving the car and everything else. They'll have to keep him calm because it's still a long time to go. He can still win this race if they can keep him calm and keep the fenders on.
On board with Shane Mills, he looks back at the 00 of Tony Raines.
It's the race for 8th and 9th.
Casey Kane right behind Raines.
Martin,
the 9 car going by.
I expect we'll see him somewhere up around the top 5 before this is over, although he is not getting there in an overly rapid fashion.
There we see the 27 car, Johnny Sauter, as he pulls up behind the 20 of Mike Bliss, trying to get by. Man, those pit stops are so crucial.
Then he talked about Mike Bliss driving for Joe Gibbs, 14th place, Matt.
Well, Alan, during final practice, the problem that he was fighting was sliding the nose, and that's the same problem he has now. The car is tight, especially in traffic. They made a track bar adjustment and also try to fix it with air pressure. Another concern, though, the water temperature climbed just over 240. Steve Addington, his crew chief, told him just to duck the nose out, try to get some fresh air in to cool that off. To Marty Snyder.
Matt, for the 2nd week in a row, Mike McLaughlin in the garage area earlier. What happened?
Oh, I got into the wall off 4 and then cut a tire going into 1 and tried going through the gears, keep it out of the fence into 1, and evidently I knocked the tranny out of it.
All right, early day for Mike McLaughlin. They can get this fixed. They will get him back out.
Trying to get every point they can possible for the NASCAR Busch Series. See the 17 car, Matt Kenseth, trying to work by Casey Kane. That's a battle for the 10th position.
Both of them trying to make their way up through traffic after some mid-pack starting spots, BP. Kenseth started 17th, and Casey Kane started 13th.
You see Matt, he drops his left sides on the yellow. You can do that here, and it doesn't affect the car a whole lot. It kind of helps make the car turn. It really doesn't make it loose and make it spin out like it will a lot of racetracks.
By the way, NBCSports.com VP will tell you what to expect in tomorrow's Nextel Cup race here in Phoenix, and I'll tell you what I think of Mark Martin's chances to finally win a championship. NBCSports.com. Speaking of championships, here's Martin Truex Jr., Busch Series championship leader. 8 car.
See a little smoke out of his car. I think that's just the right front fender smoke, and I don't think it's anything mechanical. You run so soft in the front as far as springs, the car travels a lot and it makes a lot of smoke, which we see every week anymore. It used to be some major thing when you smoke your fenders, but it happens every week now.
Dave, has Truex complained anything about the 8 car smoking?
He has not complained at this point. They haven't said anything about it on the radio. Alan was exactly right on what happened in the pit stop. Jackman actually had to jump up to avoid being run over. Once they pushed him back, they made a wedge and an air pressure adjustment on the car because it was a little bit loose coming off the corners. Marty?
Dave, Matt Kenseth's pretty happy with his race car right now. They came down and made no changes. He said, car's good. It's not sliding as much as it was yesterday. And so they decided to make no changes on the pit stop for the 17. Again, as Alan said, started 17th, worked his way up to 10th so far.
And Casey Kane is working that out, making outside lane work. Looks like he's going to be able to maintain that position on Truex Jr. by running the outside.
Yeah, here comes Mark Martin poking his nose up there, going to try to take advantage of that also on the outside. Now, if Mark Martin passes Martin on the outside works because Mark Martin does not like the outside. He likes to run that white line. So if he's going to pull this pass off, that means the outside line is ready and it's ready to go.
There's a news flash for you, huh?
That's it. Mark Martin's a bottom of the racetrack kind of guy.
So Mark up to 12th place, and Truex pushed back to 13th, and now feeling some pressure there from Johnny Sauter. And the report from pit road is that it was right rear. He had a problem changing the right rear tire on that pit stop is what cost him all that ground.
As well as having to be pushed back.
I'm talking about Johnny Sauter, VP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The thing about Truex, pushing him back, obviously that cost him some spots, but these are things that win championships. If they would have gone ahead and worked on the car, with the car out of the pit box, it would have been a one-lap penalty. They went ahead, did the smart thing. Somebody made the call, don't change tires, get it back in the box. It cost them time, but it didn't cost them a lap. And that's the things that you do when you're going to win a championship.
So Truex running 13th now. Kyle Busch, his rival for the title, is out in front as we reach the one-quarter point of today's race. It's NASCAR Busch Series Racing from Phoenix, presented on NBC by Energizer. That would be the reason the third caution is out here at Phoenix International Raceway. It's Dave Blaney.
Dave is backed in the fence in turn 3 hard.
Just looking ahead from Wally's car. It's the car in front of the car in front of Wally.
That's Justin Labonte right in front of him, and see Justin turn abruptly and get the car sideways. I don't know if there was contact or he was just trying to avoid the spinning Blaney.
Before that, Michael Waltrip had some contact on track with David Stremme racing for the 20th place.
See, Stremme is battling the 23 car of Kenny Wallace, and I guess he just didn't realize that Michael was back there, came up the hill, and almost got turned head on in the wall.
Tore up Michael's left front fender pretty badly. He had to pit and try to get it fixed.
Watch this. Oh, that was close.
Yeah, well, you heard Michael lift. You know, he saw him coming, he lifted. There's nothing he could do.
So none of the leaders pitting under this caution, just some of those who need some repairs, like Michael Waltrip, who rejoins the race. It's restart time in Phoenix. Kyle Busch leads the field back up to speed.
Oh, is that Truex? And the A car just could not get started.
Piled up behind him.
Luckily, it wasn't a crash, but seemed to have his car going now. But a big gap between the 10th place car of Mark Martin and Truex.
Kyle Busch the leader, Jamie McMurray second, Greg Biffle third, Kevin Harvick fourth, Rusty Wallace is fifth, all in that lead group. Just a couple of lap cars mixed in and among this on this restart.
There's Tony Raines in the white, red, white 00. Right behind Mark Martin in that 9.
Yeah, Raines just took right side tires on his pit stop back at lap 35, BP.
Doing pretty well with those rights.
Gave himself a little track position. He had started back in 26th. How about Mark Martin? Marty, he's up to 10th.
He's doing a pretty good job, Alan, and he wanted no changes on the first stop, so they made no chassis changes to the car. I just want 4 tires. Mark said the car feels very solid, very comfortable. Remember, he started back in the field. He's working his way up slowly through the field, as we talked about during caution, being very patient today here at Phoenix.
How about our Stacker 2 NASCAR Busch Series track fact. Something relating back to Martin Truex Jr., who had some troubles on that restart. Championship leader has finished 4th or better in 4 of the 5 Busch Series races that have ever been held here at Phoenix.
All right, Truex has got 8 spots to pick up to get to 4th.
He's back in 12th place right now after that little hiccup on that restart a minute ago.
Dave, did Martin Truex say anything about that restart?
Well, he didn't say anything about the restart, but you notice he wasn't making any progress on the last run. He radioed at lap 50 to his crew that he has no grip. And the tire rub, they said, was fine. But he said, when I push on the throttle, it gets tight, and then it goes to the wall, and then it gets loose there. So not a good handling race car right now for Martin.
Is he saying that in his normal, steady, calm, reserved tone of voice, or is he getting a little excited about some of this stuff?
I don't know, but I'd hate to be a crew chief.
And definitely calm and steady, and that's one of the trademarks of Truex so far in his young career, guys.
Check the AC Delco points as they run and how Truex and Kyle Busch are shaking things out today.
Well, Kyle Busch has made a lot of progress today. Gained quite a few spots. He started how many when he started?
He was 176 down at the green flag.
He's gained over 60 points.
Got one on the wall, turn 1. John Graham. Sports car racer from Toronto, Canada.
We got a flat tire. Yellow's out. Keep coming.
And the right front is flat. I don't know if that caused the wreck or was flat because of the wreck.
John, a former winner of the Le Mans 24-hour race, looking to make a full run at the NASCAR Busch Series in 2005, getting a few starts under his belt this year. Avid hockey player up in Toronto, says he skates 4 days a week. He was skating going into turn 1, wasn't he?
Had a problem already.
I think he hit the wall off turn 4, and the right front was flat. When he got down to turn 1, it would not turn.
Well, the pits are open again, and nobody's coming.
Nobody's coming down pit road.
Except for Mr. Graham, who needs to get himself a replacement right front. Yellow flag is out, 4th time in the race here at Phoenix. NASCAR Busch Series Racing from Phoenix, presented by Energizer. It's brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer, an easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series. By Energizer, keep going. And by Mobil 1, the official motor oil of NASCAR.
Yeah, all right, here we go. Cars in turn 3 coming down for the green flag to restart this thing on lap 68.
And your race leader, Kyle Busch, has set a new mark for NASCAR Busch Series rookies, BP and Jeff.
And that is what?
Most laps led in a season by a rookie.
Oh.
He has gone over 1,000 laps led in this season today.
It's quite a season.
Got Jamie McMurray, Greg Biffle, Kevin Harvick, and Rusty Wallace chasing the leader, Kyle Busch. Matt Yoakum chasing Stories down in the 5 teams pit.
Alan, he broke that record set by Greg Biffle. Now he wants to break another one. He wants one more win, scoring his 6th win this season, and he's hoping it comes today. He said the car earlier was loose on entry. They have worked on that with track bar adjustment and air pressure. He said it's better. Not as loose, but it is tight through the center.
And this young man next year, talking about the leader, Kyle Busch, will be running NASCAR Nextel Cup against all these fellows that's trying to chase him down now, driving the number 5 Kellogg's car for Rick Hendrick.
Then Kyle Busch did something here the other day that was pretty smart, considering he's never seen this racetrack before.
He was on the airplane Tuesday, and I said, why are you going so early? He said, well, believe it or not, I grew up in Las Vegas, but I've never been around Phoenix Raceway. There was a Southwest Series race here Thursday. He called up, he got himself a ride, and got 125 laps of practice getting ready for this.
Plus the qualifying, plus the practice time.
That's right. So very, very bright on his part to come out and at least get some time around the track. And it worked out. He's on the pole and has led every lap.
There's a great way to improve in this sport, and that's get in it every chance you can. And for a young guy like Kyle to give himself an opportunity to go to a racetrack he's never been to before, that's a great thing. That's what makes you a better race car driver.
So Kyle was on an airplane Tuesday to come out here and get extra racing experience and improve himself professionally.
Exactly.
Why were you on the airplane Tuesday?
There's golf to play.
Oh, is that what it was?
Golf to play.
Golf to be played.
You were improving yourself professionally in a profession you'll never make a living in.
Wait, that's untrue.
His race for 6th place, Robbie Gordon in 55, chased by Ashton Lewis, Matt Kenseth, and Mark Martin. Here he comes.
Hey, look at Mark on the inside of Kenseth. Going by. Hey, Marty, 17 lost a spot.
Uh-oh, VP. I don't think he's too worried, though. They're very happy. Matt said the car is very good. We just need a long run. He said, quote, if we can get a long run, I will wear them out. He said that on lap 66.
Well, all right, we'll check it out.
You see Mark Martin, early in the race, he ran that outside line to get by somebody. I don't remember who it was, and now he's running it over in 1 and 2 every single lap, and that's why he got such a good run on the 17. He ran that high line and made that motor run really, really well down the back straightaway, and he ended up pulling down the inside of the 17 and get by him. Outside's really working well in 1 and 2.
All right, so Mark ran the bottom 3 and 4. This time he goes in 1 and 2. Does he go to the top?
He's on the bottom because he's got Matt behind him. He don't want Matt to get under.
He shifted from offense to defense, right?
That's right.
So Martin and Kenseth, the Roush Racing teammates, running for 8th and 9th now. And let's check with Marty.
His teammate Mark Martin, you guys are talking about trying to keep Matt Kenseth behind him. He too wants a long run. He said, hopefully we can get a long run here to finally show how good this race car is. Mark said the car is pretty close to neutral, just a little too tight in the middle of the corner.
A little damage on the 10th place car, maybe, Shane Meal?
Well, this is off turn 2, not turn 4, but just got on the gas and thought he would turn, but guess what? It didn't turn.
He never got out of it, though. You got to get it.
Shane Meal on board this 32 for 2005 and getting started last weekend in Atlanta with his new ride for next year.
But you know, if you back off the gas, Jeff, you know, you lose that momentum. You lose all that distance. If you just, well, maybe it'll miss it. You keep in the gas, you don't lose all that space.
I tell everybody all the time that nobody would ever hit anything if nobody cared how fast we went. And when you're in that race car, the only thing you're worried about is passing that guy in front of you and keeping the guy behind you from passing you. So you step on that gas before you ought to sometimes to go as fast as you can. And when you do, sometimes you brush the wall. That's what we're supposed to do.
Championship leader Martin Truex Jr. lost another spot, Dave. He's in 13th.
And that demeanor we were talking about, Alan, became just a little animated during the last caution period. In fact, they were talking about communication problems. Martin said, I'm having a little trouble with my earplugs. But I said, okay, everybody, calm down. Everybody's a little bit on edge. We're not in bad shape. I know what to do to fix this car. And Martin radioed back, yeah, it was a little bit better, that run, too. So staying positive, trying to keep his young driver in this game.
Bono really is a good crew chief. He understands. I think he understands drivers. Not having been a driver, I think he understands about as well as anyone.
Yeah, normally when the driver gets upset, it's the crew chief's radio that breaks. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh, I do.
Who's the best crew chief you had at keeping you calm inside the race car, Jeff, and just keeping you focused when things weren't going well?
Well, I've been really lucky to have a lot of good crew chiefs. Frank Sauter and I did a great job together. Kevin Hamlin and I doing a really good job. But Buddy Parrott was probably the best at communicating with not only me, but with everybody. Buddy's just, you know, he was calming. He'd yell at you when you needed to be yelled at. And he would hug you when you needed to be hugged. And he could do that over the radio as well as in person. And but Kevin Hamlin has been really impressive to me. I think we got something good going there.
I figured you'd say Buddy. Had a lot of success at a key point in your career. Got a little hot race for the lead starting to develop here, huh?
Yes. Yeah, what we've seen for sure is the 5 car runs really, really strong on new tires. And the 41 just keeps running the same lap time over and over and over and over. So we talked about Mark and Matt wanting long runs. I think this 41 car with Jamie McMurray, they want a long run as well.
Marty, how about the 41 car? What have they said? Anything?
He confirmed what you guys were saying earlier under caution, under the last caution on the radio. He said, you know what? I'm better than him through 1 and 2, but through 3 and 4, he's got more grip than me. He's got something. I cannot get the run off of 4 that he gets, and that's where he's beating me every time. And Kyle Busch still doing that to Jamie McMurray.
See, Kyle Busch still continues to run right on the bottom. I think that Jamie, when he moves up the racetrack like Mark, he really gets through this 1 and 2 well.
It really does. And if you can just run the same as somebody through the corner, run the high line, it makes you so much faster down the straightaway because it doesn't bind that engine up. So if you can make good time on the outside, you tend to really do a good job.
Pressure. Trying to see if he can force the young driver into a mistake. McMurray work on the back of Kyle Busch. NBC tomorrow, the best distance runners from all over the globe gather in the Big Apple and turn the 5 boroughs of New York into a 26-mile endurance test. It's the ING New York City Marathon, 2 Eastern tomorrow on NBC.
Here we go, battle for the lead once again. I think this time McMurray may have him.
See how big of a fight Kyle puts up. He's not going to give up. I saw McMurray on the outside. He didn't really beat him to the corner, but he beat him down the straightaway. Let's see if Kyle can do the same thing.
I tell you what, these young kids are so impressive. They don't give you that much. You know, you pull up on the inside of them, used to just pull over, let them go. Not these young guys. They race for every inch on the racetrack.
Oh, yeah, it's a different time today. That's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Nope, he slipped a little bit there. First lead change of the race as Jamie McMurray goes by Kyle Busch at lap 85 of 200. He takes the top spot here in Phoenix.
Lap 91 on the board here at the Phoenix International Raceway. NASCAR Busch Series Racing presented by Energizer. Currently, Jamie McMurray is the man up front as we take you through the field here this afternoon. Lap 92 on the board. McMurray very happy with the car, just a little bit loose, especially into turn 3. The one concern, the water's at 230 for McMurray, a little bit warmer than he would like. Matt?
Marty, Kyle Busch second in the championship standing, second on the board, just over second behind leader Jimmy McMurray. He says the car has great drive off, but where he's losing his time is in the center of the corner. It's tight, and it continues to get tighter, Dave.
Greg Biffle's car a little bit better on this run. Remember, they removed the spring rubber from the right rear. They also took some tape off the front of the car because it was overheating just a bit. That has improved. Matt?
Kevin Harvick runs fourth in the 21 car. He was tight earlier in the race. Now he is loose. They made adjustments on the last stop. It's made it looser. In fact, he's also tried to adjust the car inside the cockpit with the brake bias. That hasn't helped, Dave.
Rusty Wallace is running a drop snout race car for the first time in his career, and it looks different. So different that Rusty on Friday said to his crew, is that normal? Talking about the front suspension. It has been normal this day, and he runs fifth after starting further back in the pack. Matt?
Robbie Gordon knocking on the door of the top 5. The car has been tight all weekend. It's tight today, and it is still tight. He said he just cannot make the car cut in the center of the corner. Meanwhile, Ashton Lewis Jr., who will move over to the 25 car next year with his brother Charlie running 7th. They've made some adjustments on the car, but he says he just needs forward bite, Marty. That's the biggest obstacle he's trying to battle.
Mark Martin has 45 career Busch Series wins. Matt, he would love number 46 in his last chance in 2004, his final Busch Series race of the season. The car a little bit too tight for Mark. He wants an air pressure adjustment on the next stop. Same thing for Matt Kenseth, his Cup Series teammate. Car way too tight. Matt said getting too tight to hold Mark in front of him, so he let Mark go. Currently, Matt is in the 9th position. Dave?
Last week, Shane Meal had a vision of things to come. Started 9th, took the lead on lap 32, but immediately broke a transmission and spent 43 laps in the pits. He knew things were going to be better after that experience, knowing this is going to be a winning team, and it made him pumped coming into this weekend. Matt?
Dave, Mike Bliss, the Lowe's Motor Speedway winner, started 21st. He's now climbed to 11th, and he's chasing Shane Meal. He says it feels like the front of the car, the tires just are not gripping. We don't have a bad car. It's great on longer runs, but we just need a long run to show it.
Crew Chief Bono Mannion trying to help his driver, Martin Truex Jr., find the line. In fact, he told him the cars that are quicker than you are running about 3 feet lower in turn 1. He's been trying that line, and it has helped. Matt?
Bill England, who's crew chiefing the 00 for Tony Raines, won here with Ricky Rudd. Would love to get Tony his first career NASCAR Busch Series victory. The car was loose. They took out right side tires only, restarted 7th. They faded a little bit, but they feel like they have a very strong car, Marty.
Matt, last week, Johnny Sauter's race only lasted 3 laps. He finished 43rd. He told me we have to have a good run today. Currently, he is 14th. Really never recovered after the bad pit stop where he restarted 17th. The one concern, the water is at 240. Caution on the racetrack, Alan.
John Graham is spun around in turn 4 in the 72 car and brought out the yellow flag right as we get to the halfway point of the race, and this will make things kind of interesting strategically.
Man, will it ever, because I think these guys can probably run 100 miles on a tank of fuel, but what those tires going to be like at the end of 100 laps?
Everyone will, without a doubt, pit right here. This is a no-brainer right here. Few people pitted earlier. This is their last set of tires that they'll be able to put on. So it's not on the leaders, but there are a few that this will be it.
John just spins the 72 car right in front of Robbie Gordon.
He didn't hit anything.
Luckily, didn't hit anything, yeah.
That's a bad feeling sitting in the middle of the racetrack watching all those guys come at you.
Yeah, looking out that driver's side door.
Not good.
Yeah. Pit road is closed while they gather up the field behind the pace car. John getting a little early start on his pit stop.
I want some fresh tires. I don't care whether the pit road is open or closed. I'll start at the end of the longest line. No problem.
All right, they're going to open pit road here, BP.
All right, we'll see. I agree with Jeff. I think all these guys will pit. They'll change 4 tires and make their decisions on what they're going to do next time later on.
Kenny Wallace, Jason Keller, 2 of the guys that already took that second set of tires there, Jeff. Marty, here we go.
Jamie McMurray told his guys, I didn't want to tell you under green, but I had a vibration for most of that run. Felt like I had a loose wheel. Make sure we get all the lug nuts tight on this stop. Car was a little bit too loose for Jamie. Pound in the right front, half a pound out of the right rear tire. Water is still at 230. They're going to try to pull a second piece of tape off the leader's car. Matt?
Marty, Kyle Busch slides to a stop. They're only going to adjust his car with air pressure to try to fix that tight in the center of the corners. They go to work on the left side to Dave.
Greg Biffle wanted his car to turn just a little bit better. They made the call to take a half pound of air pressure out of the right front after he'd already hit pit road. 4 tires changed now for the 60 car, and he will try to leave here, be the first off. He will not be. Kyle Busch and a drag race off for second, guys.
Jamie McMurray and Rusty Wallace in that drag race for second. Looks like Kyle Busch gets the lead back on an exchange of pit stops at halfway in the Bashas 200 at Phoenix International Raceway. Boy, it was close for second, huh?
Yes, it was.
I'm Brian Williams, NBC News in Ramallah on the West Bank. Behind us, Yasser Arafat's longtime compound, and the wait continues here for word on Arafat's condition from that military hospital where he's being treated in Paris. Should word arrive here that he has died, we expect weapons to be fired in the air in his memory, but there's also the chance of a power struggle for leadership. We'll have the very latest on this story and the expected U.S. Marine attack in Fallujah coming up from here tonight on NBC Nightly News. For now, back to my friend Alan Bestwick at Phoenix International.
Brian, thank you. Here in Phoenix, we are back under the green flag. Mike Wallace is the race leader in the 4 by not pitting under this caution.
Oh, wow. He lost 2 spots in a hurry, didn't he, as Kyle Busch goes by on the outside in the 5, McMurray on the inside in 41.
Mike's got about 40 laps on his tires, and he is just not going to be able to keep up with these guys in their tires.
So Kyle Busch back out in front. He led the first 84 laps of the race, then was overtaken by Jamie McMurray, but his crew got him back to lead in the pit stops. Much easier for him to take the lead that way than have to pass him again on the racetrack.
Yes, it is.
That is the easiest way. What a confidence builder, too, for a race car driver, knowing when you come on pit road, you have a chance to pick up spots. That just builds confidence and makes it so much, takes the stress out of racing a little bit, because when you feel like you're going to lose spots, you end up driving too hard. You're afraid to lose spots on the racetrack. You got to get everything you can. When you know your guys have a chance of picking you up some, you don't have to be quite as aggressive.
Rusty Wallace, the 66, about to lose a spot to Greg Biffle in 60. That's a battle for the 3rd position. Biffle takes it away.
And Robbie Gordon right behind them in 5th. Now up front. Quickly. Pressure on Kyle Busch. McMurray dogging Kyle's back bumper.
Hey, Marty Snyder, both times the 41 car has pitted, the right front tire changer, Steve Wolf, has had some kind of problem. What's going on?
He hung a lug nut both times, and he feels really bad about it. But I talked to the crew chief, and they said, you know, they're just trying to do it too fast. I told him to slow down a little bit and just take their time. Brian Patty, obviously the crew chief on this team, said, just calm down, guys. Don't try to do it so fast that you're messing yourself up. The slower you go, the better you'll be.
In other words, when he spun the 5 lug nuts off, one of them was still hung on the stud.
Correct. One was still on the stud, so he goes to pull the tire, and the tire won't come off, and he has to pick the gun back up and then take it off. It takes it doesn't seem like it takes a long time, but it takes more time than you would think.
Yes, I noticed both times he's had a problem with that right front.
Well, in a situation on a pit stop where a half a second can cost you a spot, it takes plenty of time.
Makes a big difference. See the 5 car that shot there, he was really had the back end hung out getting off the 4. It looked pretty free getting up off of there.
Kevin Harvick trying to come up through some of the traffic. He's in 12th place, Matt.
Hit pit road in the 4th position, but they had a disastrous pit stop on the left front. The lugs fell off. They lost a lot of time. They put the wedge back in. Also came up on the air pressures. The car is just loose all over, but much like last year when he had a chance to win, had a bad pit stop, cost him. Bad pit stop lost him a lot of track position. He's got to try to make up now.
Yeah, look at this glob of traffic.
Yeah, Mike Wallace and Jason Keller both are out there on old tires, and it's just a big group behind them. They got nowhere to go other than go by them, and it just takes a little while. So there's going to be a mess behind them until they can't get by them.
Michael Walsh right on board with him as so the 23 car Kenny Wallace get by. Man, that is a gaggle of cars. Tim Feet on the 12.
That's the kind of group trouble often begins in.
Yes, sir. They're looking for a place to wreck. There's no doubt.
They keep on, they'll find one.
Yep. The perfect spot's out there someplace if they just look hard enough.
I assure you.
Got David Stremme in the 14 there. Casey Kane in the 38 at the back of that group. Paul Menard in the 11. And Jimmy Spencer in 74 attacking on the tail end. And Kenny Wallace in the middle of it as well. Dave?
Oh, just about at it there, Dave. Go ahead.
And he was so excited about this race as they go 3 wide down the backstretch. They still are. Casey Kane to the inside.
Somebody needs a lift.
Yeah, exactly, Jeff. And the 23 car of Kenny Wallace is so excited. Drivability is what he was looking for, but he really hasn't found it all day. The car was loose earlier. Now it's tight, and they've just been battling back and forth on that 23 car, trying to find the right setup.
So Kenny hanging in there in 15th place. His older brother Mike is thinking to himself about now, why didn't we take tires?
Oh, I'm telling you. Stacy Compton in 59 and Mike Wallace trading some paint and rubber off the sidewalls of their tires down the backstretch.
Well, the 4 car, what they did was they pitted on lap 65. Had a caution come out on about lap 80, this might have worked. But the next one came on lap 104. And what they were trying to do is get their track position by not pitting that second time. Not pitting what everybody else did, but the green went too long, and that's just got them in the box now.
See, Wally Dallenbach going by in the 35 car, currently in the 27th spot. Matt?
BP, yes. What is your bet with Wally?
That he has to finish in the top 5, and I will wash his car.
Well, guess what? You don't have to worry about turning on the water to fill the bucket because his car is just plain horrible.
Okay.
It's tight from the middle. Then he gets loose big time on exit. They made 4 big adjustments on the first stop. They just keep adjusting on this car. It does not help. Matt, you're safe for another race.
Matt, that might be the best pit report I've ever heard. Attaboy.
Because you knew if Wally had that top 5 finish, he was going to show up with like a bus for Benny to wash.
Because if he finishes in the top 5, Jeff, I've got to wash his vehicle. you see.
Now, if he doesn't, does he wash yours?
That's right.
Well, I got a motorhome he can wash if that works for you.
Can you just give me temporary?
Yeah, I'll tip you.
Matt?
Well, BP, remember Wally does own a ranch.
Yeah.
And on a ranch, you have a lot of farm equipment.
Yeah.
He told me he has a lot of farm equipment implements all ready for you to wash. He just has to get a race car here to get up on the wheel and try to get that top 5. But if he does, I think you're going to spend a whole afternoon hosing off a lot of stuff.
Tractors and hay balers and all that stuff. Oh, we see some smoke out of the 35 car that time.
Doesn't he have a tank?
Yeah, he has a tank.
I thought he had a tank.
Matt Kenseth trying to come back toward the front. 17 car, looking to take 6th place from Ashton Lewis.
And he does it, Marty.
He does it, VP. 4 tires and fuel, 1 round down on the right rear and the left side air pressure adjustment for Matt Kenseth last time. Car a little bit too loose. One concern for Matt, they're having trouble with radio communication. The radio is scratchy, so they're having trouble hearing exactly what he's saying, but the car obviously very good and continuing to go forward.
Past halfway here at Phoenix International Raceway, Matt Kenseth is running in 6th place while Kyle Busch holds off Jamie McMurray for now for the race lead. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Coming to NBC Monday, the $25 million hoax. NBC's newest reality show where one woman has 5 days to pull off the biggest hoax in television history. Monday, 10/9 Central on NBC. Kyle Busch in the 5, the leader here at Phoenix International Raceway at lap 125 of 200. Kyle has locked up the 5 bonus points toward the championship for most laps led today.
Put Steve Grissom, the 93 car, a lap down, so now only 31 cars on the lead lap. And Ron Hornaday is just 2 cars in front of Kyle Busch, and he is struggling in that 2 car today, and he has many laps on this racetrack. Marty, what's going on with Hornaday?
He's down on 7 cylinders, VP, and this is a heartbreak for the Hornaday loves this racetrack. He's always run so well here. He has won in 3 different series here, but never in the Busch Series. Wanted to win so badly in his last ride in the 2 car at this racetrack, but he's not going to get it today. Only on 7 cylinders right now for Hornaday.
So the leaders put Ron a lap down. Ron going to drive in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in 2005 for Kevin Harvick.
Something right about that, you know, Kevin Harvick and Hornaday rather being in the Truck Series. You know, that's just he does such a good job in the Truck Series. He makes those races so exciting to watch. That's going to be good. That's going to be good for him. That's going to be good for the sport.
And Mike Wallace, who started first, restarted first just, what, 25, 26 laps ago with those older tires, has gone a lap down to the leader.
Yeah, that was the same scene 25 laps ago, just it was for the lead. Kyle holding off Jamie McMurray for now. Have these leaders made their final pit stops of the day? Can Kyle hold off the Nextel Cup veteran for the win? NASCAR Racing from Phoenix, presented by Energizer, is brought to you by Trim Spa. Your dream body is within reach. Just ask Anna. Trim Spa BMV. By Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR. Available at Sears. Craftsman makes anything possible. And by Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. Beautiful day in the shadows of the Estrella Mountains, and a new leader here at Phoenix in the NASCAR Busch Series 200-miler.
And we'll show you how that Jimmy McMurray was able to take that lead. They run across a slow car, and the 5 car had to back off the gas for just an instant, and that instant is all it took for the 41 to drive up on the inside and take the lead away.
And once he got by him, he was gone. No catching.
You see Mike McLaughlin in the 25 car has come back on the racetrack. He's 46 laps down.
Let's take you through the field and let you know how everybody's doing at this point in the race. Marty has the leader for us.
And that would be Jamie McMurray. We saw the pass and how good the car is. Jamie came on the radio right when this run began, said it's really good right now. About 5 laps later, he said, guys, you know what? It's the best it's been all day. Got around Kyle Busch, now trying to set sail and keep the lead. Matt?
Kyle Busch told me he felt like he gained a huge advantage running the Southwest Series race on Thursday. He finished 7th. He's currently running in the 2nd position. He told Lance McGrew, you've got to help me make this car turn better in the center. Lance, don't worry. We've got to stop one more time. We don't think anybody can make it on fuel from here on out, Dave.
After this particular race car ran its 4th race of the season, finishing 13th at Nashville, Greg said to his crew chief, please don't bring this car back. But Brad Parrott said, I couldn't give up a $100,000 race car, so I changed the pivot points on the suspension. He's driven on this last run from the 6th position on the restart up to 3rd. 66 car of Rusty Wallace has gone actually stayed right where he was. They had a good pit stop, picked up some positions last time, got some track position. This time, car a little bit tight, took some wedge out. Matt?
Robbie Gordon knows a lot about success here at Phoenix. In fact, back in 1995, he won a kart champ car race. Currently runs in the 5th position. He's been pretty quiet on the radio, Dave, but he says that tight condition is still with this race car. They tried shuffling the air pressures on the last stop to fix it, and it's still tight.
Crew chief Bono Mannion said, I know what to do to fix this race car. And it was fairly simple, a track bar adjustment and a very clean stop. The car was loose. It's come around. He's gone from 11th to the 6th position on this run. Marty?
Dave, on the previous stop, Mark Martin had a tight race car, so they took air pressure out of both left side tires. Mark said, you know what? Put that back. Car way too loose right now for Mark. They were pretty balanced before. Mark wants the car with the air pressure adjustment the other way. Matt Kenseth, his car has started to pick up a bad push. It happened in the first run, happening now. Midway through the run, car just gets way too tight for Matt. Can't turn it off the corner like he would like. Matt?
Ashton Lewis Jr. in the 46 car slowly fading. He's in the 9th position. He's telling his team the car is just way too tight. You need to free me up. Marty, this team has really been on a roll. In the last 4 races, they have finished 12th or better 3 times.
Matt just talked to Newt Moore, Johnny Sauter's crew chief. He said, you know what? The car is pretty good. We're still trying to recover from that bad pit stop earlier in the day. I may try 2 tires on the last stop. We're as good as the 41 and the 5. We just need to get up there with them. Dave?
Yesterday, Shane Meal told me that his car drives well, but it's not as quick as it needs to be. On this last pit stop, the car was tight, so they made a track bar adjustment. He's only picked up 1 position since the restart. Matt?
Tony Raines having a very solid run in the 00 car. Next week, Justin Labonte will take over this car for the final 2 races this year, and then will drive this car all of 2005. Tony says the car is good. It was loose earlier. They have fixed that. And Mike Bliss, the 20 car, who won at Charlotte, having a good run, not a great run. The car, though, still tight, needs grip up off the corner. And Michael Waltrip, earlier he said, tell me how bad that guy hurt my car when he hit me. They fixed the fender, and he is slowly working his way up. The car was tight. They made some adjustments, made a track bar adjustment. And Kevin Harvick, part frustration over the pit stop, part frustration over the car. They just cannot fix that loose condition, Dave. He is fading quickly.
Kenny Wallace's crew tried to fix the loose condition. The car got tighter. It has stayed tight now. Check with his crew chief just a bit back. They made an air pressure adjustment on the last run. Hasn't helped him a whole lot. Matt, you again.
And the DEI car, Paul Menard, running 17th. He's had some good runs this year. 5 straight top 20 finishes. The car was tight. It was loose. They've been going back and forth. Right now, they're just trying to work the tight out of it. Meanwhile, Tim Fedewa racing with a heavy heart. Michigan legend Max Dowker passed away recently, 70-something years old. A hero to Tim. His dad raced for him. Working on his race car today, though, the car was tight in the gas pretty much most of the day, Marty.
Thank you, Matthew. Phoenix resident J.J. Yaley finally is getting his car a little bit better. You see on the screen, started 33rd. It's been a steady progress through the field. Car been way too tight. They've tried everything to make this car a little bit better. Casey Kane, after finishing 3rd last week at Atlanta, it has been a struggle for this team today. Car extremely tight for Casey, chattering the front tires, quote, like crazy. I don't know what to tell you guys, dude, to fix this thing to make it any better.
There's a lot of people have to do a lot of fixing to keep up with Jamie McMurray and Kyle Busch. It has been a 2-car race. Class of the field thus far, those 2.
They have been. There we see McMurray going by the 59 car of Stacy Compton, running 23rd, putting him a lap down.
54 laps to go. Perhaps another round of pit stops left as well. The fastest car doesn't always win. See what happens in the closing stages.
Caution for debris and pit stops with 51 laps to go. Jamie McMurray, your leader. Car just a little bit tight at the end of the run. Half down to the right rear tire and a quick stop, Matt.
Kyle Busch chasing his season 6 victory. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment to try to free this race car to the center of the corner. They're done. Dave.
Greg Biffle still just a little bit loose. Wrench went in the rear window for the track bar adjustment. Needs just a little bit of that. Just a little loose, and he'll leave pit road now.
Oh, a little interesting at pit exit there, wasn't it?
Man.
Kenny Wallace, not Rusty. Kenny Wallace first off the pit road. Kyle Busch beats McMurray out again. We'll reset it when we come back. This January on NBC, the International Auto Show, a one-of-a-kind global event where the flashiest cars and the newest futuristic trends in automobiles are unveiled for the world to see. International Auto Show, Sunday, January 23rd. From Detroit on NBC.
I tell you what, that has always been the greatest auto show in the world. Can't wait to go up and see that.
Kenny Wallace, the leader. Fuel only on his pit stop. He had changed all the sets of tires he was allowed to change earlier. We'll see how long he's able to hold off Kyle Busch for the top spot.
Got a good start. It's the corner that's hard with old tires.
Yeah, the straightaway is okay.
Hanging in there better than I thought he would, though. But here they come.
And what a job again by Kyle Busch's pit crew to again take the lead on that set of pit stops.
And so many times we've seen the 41 car, it takes him 30 or 40 laps to get back in front of the 5. Right now with about 45 laps to go, does he have time to catch Kyle Busch and try to catch him? Marty?
BP, that's exactly what Brian Patty told Jamie McMurray under the caution. He said that last run was 50 laps. The run to finish this race, 50 laps. So we should get by him. It'll take a while. Be patient, but you're better than him at the end of the run.
It took him 30 laps to pass him. The last run was 30 laps. So.
Okay.
But it's different when it's 50 to go and when it's 100 to go.
Exactly.
And Kyle Busch will put up a big fight with 20 to go versus what he put up a little while ago.
And Lance McGrew and the crew on this 5 car probably made some changes on the last stop to hopefully make the 5 car a little bit better.
We've seen the 41 have trouble in the pits with the right front almost every stop. This time the right front was flawless. They had problems with the right
on the rear. That's right. Matt, what about the 5 car? They make any changes?
BP, they know as the run progresses, the car starts to go tight, so they made an air pressure adjustment trying to fix that. Now they're hoping to hold on for a win. Now we know all about the recent events. This team would love to get a win for the Hendrick family. In fact, crew chief Lance McGrew told me, you know, Ricky's truck number, BP, was
17?
17. He said his room this week is 217. When he went to go to a restaurant, he pulled the tab for the number in line, number 17. They feel like this should be their week, and they want to go to victory lane for Ricky.
The glob of cars all racing for position. Rusty Wallace in 66 is 5th. Greg Biffle in 60 is 6th. Tony Raines in the 00 7th. And your championship leader, Martin Truex, in the 8 is 8th. Check the championship standings as they run in this race with 44 laps to go. And what was a 176 gap starting the day, a little bit smaller.
Yeah. He's gained, what, 48 points or so?
And it's not a lot, but if it can continue, it's enough to put pressure on the 8 crowd and make them think about it a little bit going into 2 races that are very tough.
Hey, Kenny Wallace, that 23 car, he would love to have some tires, wouldn't he, Dave?
Yeah, but he was all out according to rule. I did check with his crew chief, Chris Rice. I said, how were you on old tires in practice? He said, well, I was good, but I've been bad all day, and yeah, I really wish I'd had fresh tires.
Oops.
But those are the rules that you have to abide by in NASCAR Busch Series racing. They restrict the amount of tires you can change on the caution flag, and 3 was it.
He's hung in there pretty well. I tell you, I'm surprised he's been able. You compare what he's been able to do to what the 4 car did when they didn't have any tires, and it's not going to be pretty for him here in a few laps, but it's better than I thought it would be.
Mark Martin in the 9 sliding by Kenny Wallace. Mark up to 8th. Not been as much of a factor today as we thought.
two leaders have just been in another league. They just all day long just been so much better than everybody else. The 9 and the 17 and the 8. And some of those guys have run well, but compared to those two leaders, they haven't.
Marty?
Alan, just hearing from Mark's tone on the radio, Mark Martin we're talking about, he just seemed like the air pressure adjustment they made before the last run really hurt them, set them very far back. They put that air pressure back, and Mark said he can tell already the car even a little bit better now because he just got way too loose on that last run.
So Mark hanging in there in the 8th spot. Truex trying to gain some of those points back from Kyle Busch.
Just knew he was going to slide up and make contact with the 00, but Truex did a great job to avoid that. Like he's going to take that spot away. And meanwhile, see Greg Biffle trying to get by Rusty Wallace going down in the corner. That's for the 4th position. Robbie Gordon is currently 3rd.
Robbie Gordon's team had a great pit stop, got him out in front of a lot of those guys. Rusty had a good pit stop. The 00 had a good pit stop, and that mixed this thing up a little bit.
You know, this time, it might not take 30 laps for that 41 car to get back in front because he is closed up right on the back of the 5 car.
Trying a little different line there in 1 and 2.
All day long, McMurray in that 41 car has made good time on the high side off turns 1 and 2. Down here they run about almost the same tracks, but Jamie's able to change his line a little bit in turn 1. Now that time he didn't have a very good lap. Corner off 3 and 4.
Vibration.
Uh-oh, that's Kyle Busch, wasn't it?
Yeah, Kyle.
Let me know if it gets worse.
Vibration just after a pit stop.
Oh, man. And when a really good pit stop usually means the wheel has been left loose.
But, you know, we have the advantage of listening to almost everybody. We've heard a lot of people complain about vibrations today that didn't have problems. So if Lance has heard that, he's probably telling Kyle, hey, look, other people have had that vibration too. Kyle's got to be the one to make the call.
They're telling me everything's tight, bud.
There you go. Everything's tight. And
Patty.
Alan, Lance McGrew pointed to the tire changers. They all nodded. They feel like they got all the lugs tight on the 5 car.
All right. It could be something else. Maybe he threw a weight, one of the balance weights off the wheels.
We might have lost the wheel weight to have some pretty big wheel weights on that set.
What was that you were saying? There's an echo in here.
Lance also told Kyle Busch, BP, we had the same problem here last year. Just ride it out. If it does get too bad, then we'll talk about pitting, but we had the same issue last year, and it was a wheel weight.
And last week in Atlanta, Ryan Newman had exactly the same problem, had to make an unscheduled stop to change the left front.
34 laps to go. Can Kyle Busch ride it out? Hold off Jamie McMurray for the victory. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Phoenix International Raceway and the Bashas 200 for the NASCAR Busch Series, live on NBC, and the caution flag out for the 7th time in this race.
Johnny Sauter, the 27 car, had an engine problem, fluids on the racetrack, and pit road is closed because that's where he is right now, trying to get a push from a wrecker to the garage area to get him out of the way.
Johnny joining the growing attrition list in this race.
But nobody's going to pit because no one has any tires to change.
That's right. They've been in 3 times under caution already. All you're allowed to change in this race. So we'll take a break while the cleanup continues here at Phoenix. NASCAR Busch Series Racing presented by Energizer. Coming to NBC in the new year, the return of the Arena Football League. It's football indoor style on an exciting 50-yard field between a set of very unforgiving walls. The AFL on NBC returning this January. It's kind of like a short track race every week.
That's fun to watch.
It is.
That is a lot of fun to watch. It's really entertaining. It's physical.
You enjoy doing those?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I thought you were asking me if I enjoyed hitting the walls.
No. I know. I mean, Alan talking about football.
Race drivers can relate to that hitting the wall thing very well. Let's hear from some crew chiefs while we're under the caution. You see a lot of oil drop down and being cleaned up. How about the leader, Kyle Busch? Matty?
Alan, this 5 team with Kyle Busch continues to be impressive this year. 5 wins, chasing number 6. You think the vibrations of wheel weight, Lance?
Yeah, I mean, the car's just been absolutely awesome all day, and I know my guys get it done on pit road, and if they tell me they're tight, I believe they're tight, so I don't feel like there's any chance of there being a loose wheel. We had they had several wheel weights on the rear tires there, and some of them are actually bigger than we normally run. Sling one off at this kind of speed down the front straightaway here, you're going to feel that kind of weight.
Real quick, is your man going to be able to hold off the 41?
I hope so. I got a lot of power, Randy Dorton power, and 10 more Angels riding on the hood, and I sure hope we can get it done for Rick. And I mean, Lowe's and Gladiator, Garage Works, and Pella, everybody's just been so awesome to us this entire year, and we're honored to be part of Hendrick Motorsports.
They're going to try to hold him off. Marty?
But, Matt, Jamie McMurray's been better on the long runs. Can you get past the 5, Brian Patty?
Kyle's pretty tough. 55's up there at 66. I mean, there's a lot of good cars, but 5 and the 41 seem to be pretty good here all day long. It's at the Jamie, and we're out of tires. I mean, the Busch deal, you got 3 sets, and we're all out, so we'll see what happens.
Ryan is famous for pacing when he has a chance to win the race, and the pacing's already begun. We got him to sit down for just a moment. Dave?
Crew chief for Martin Truex is Kevin Mannion. Bono, why so much talk about setup changes you can't make today, like a front bar and stuff like that?
Well, we come here pretty early next year. We come in April under the lights or something, and it's such a long way to come to test. And DEI, I don't think is tested here for some time. You know, we went off some notes Dale Jr. had. Tony Jr. and Sr. helped us out. They won the race last year, so we came with their notes and had a pretty good car. We feel like we can make it better for next spring, and maybe we can help Dale Jr. tomorrow with something we learned today.
Maybe help the Cup guys tomorrow, and they think they can get a couple more positions yet today. Matt?
Well, a very strong run by Robbie Gordon. Do you think you guys can improve on that?
I don't know. We're a little bit free off on power for little Chevys. We've just been playing back and forth with setup, tight one time, lose the next. So we'll see what we have here at the end, the last 25 laps.
They went back down on the track bar on that last stop, Alan, to try to tighten him up just a little more.
All right, Matt. So there you go. Thoughts of some of the crew chiefs on pit road as we get set for this final sprint to the finish. Have to come up with an envious happening for this race right now.
Got to be the 5 car. I mean, this caution flag, I would think, would be playing into his hands because they cooled the tires off. He runs a little bit better on cool tires. He's my vote to be envied.
What do you think, Jeff?
I'd go with Vinny. He knows what he's on, Matt.
Oh, yeah. That's why we like him. So our trim spot be envied moment. Here's how we got to this point at Phoenix today. Robert Presley with some early left rear troubles. And Joe Nemechek found some problems in that same incident.
Yeah, that tire hit the hood of Joe Nemechek. Lap 34. See Mike McLaughlin, the 25 car, make contact with turn 4 wall and broke the transmission. Trying to get the car slowed down.
Michael Waltrip, David Stremme. Little tangle off turn 4. No harm, no foul. John Graham has had a couple of problems today.
Oh, right front tire goes flat. Goes down. Might not hit the turn 1 wall too hard. And we see the 41 car take the lead. Jamie McMurray goes by the 5 of Kurt Busch.
Second of John Graham's 2 spins in this race. And on the set of pit stops, Kyle Busch got back out in front of Jamie McMurray. So 30 laps later.
Didn't we just see this?
Deja vu all over again.
All over again.
Then another set of pit stops on a caution.
For those 5 bus, they have been terrific on pit road today.
And now this most recent yellow flag that has slowed the field when Johnny Sauter had an engine problem, dropped debris and liquid on the racetrack. 25 lap sprint to the finish. And what has been a 2-car race. Jamie McMurray trying to get around Kyle Busch.
He got a good restart here.
He got a great restart. He's trying to get on the inside. He's there.
See if he can pull it off. The outside's been working.
Oh, 5 car would not give it up. He would not give up that lead. But here's where you might have some troubles trying to run on the outside.
He did it.
41 to the front.
24 to go. Jamie McMurray takes the lead. Busch to try him back.
Kyle Busch is going to try it on the inside and retake the lead. And does it. All right, Kyle.
That is
You are the man, Kyle. 23 more laps, buddy. Awesome job.
That's his crew chief, Lance McGrew. That is a very determined young man behind the wheel of that 5 car.
I'd say that's 3 determined young men right there.
Yes.
All 3 of those guys want it bad. You got to, obviously, the 5 car, with all they've been through recently, they want to win really badly. And they're racing that point championship, too. Don't forget about that. Well, let's see if the 41, what happens here. It's still, 23 to go. The 41.
And Robbie Gordon, his 55 car, all of a sudden, they're not driving off from him. He's hanging with these guys.
Robbie's been to victory lane this season, this team that he owns. He won the 2nd race at Richmond. A lot of folks think there are setup similarities between the 2 racetracks as far as how the race car works. Robbie's pit crew, we were talking about this earlier, but got him a couple spots in that last set of stops and put him in position to maybe challenge.
It's that 31 Singler crew that pits the NASCAR Nextel Cup car, comes over and helps them on Saturday in the NASCAR Busch Series, and they are terrific.
Yeah, they really have been. The 5 crew's been really good today, and the 55 crew's been really good.
Of course, that 5 team, the Hendrick Motorsports operation. Ricky Hendrick was the owner of this car after stepping away as its driver a couple of years ago now, and desperately wanting to get into victory lane in the memory of those lost in the plane crash a couple of weeks ago.
I noticed today that during driver introduction, Kyle Busch had his uniform tied around his waist and had on a GMAC t-shirt trying to honor the memory of Ricky Hendrick.
The Hendrick attitude is infectious, and if you're around it, you want to be with it.
Check this out. Truex, the 8 car by Biffle into 4th. What a great run. Adjustments Bono has made. This young guy has learned this racetrack very well. Dave, I'm impressed with Truex and Bono, this entire crew.
And he told Bono before the last pit stop, I've got to get some more grip on this car. When I get on the throttle, when I hit the gas, it breaks away. Can you give me some more grip? Track bar adjustment did it. He's going to the front.
And Jeff, I'm just thinking back to a comment you made earlier. Remember when we heard the report about the crew chief, Kevin Mannion, telling the team, calm down, I know what to do to fix this race car. And you said that's what champions are made of. Staying calm, staying after it.
Yeah, these guys just don't quit. And you see in a lot of races, they're not the best car during a certain portion of the race. But that doesn't mean they quit. They just keep working and working and working. And Martin Truex has done a great job of telling the team what the car needs. And Bono and those guys do a good job of giving the changes that Martin's feeling. A driver feels things, and then it's up to the team to make the changes so that the driver feels what he's looking for.
Burns, you have more?
Yeah, just a good conversation with Martin Truex on Friday afternoon. Just talking to him about being a challenger for the Busch Series title. And he said, you know what? It has been such a long year. I cannot remember the first 5 races of the season. Remember, he had a win at Bristol in the first 5 races. He said, I love it. I love what I'm doing. But boy, has it been a long year. Matt?
All this 5 team can do to chase this championship is do the best they can, and that's win the race. That's what Kyle Busch is trying to do now. Now, BP, you talked a lot about Ricky Hendrick and this team. Now, even think back to the championship banquet last year, the flip-flops. Ricky would always wear flip-flops away from the racetrack. They've got a huge pair of flip-flops in his honor hanging from the pit box. Also, a hat that he actually signed. He is here in spirit with this team, hoping to go to victory lane. Battle for 3rd.
Martin Truex trying to get 3rd away from Robbie Gordon.
It looks like he's going to do it. Right now, Truex's 8 car might be as fast as the 541 if he can get by. He's going to get by. He's there.
Truex talking about the long season. Basketball. Kids coming out of college, going to the NBA, the transition from the college season to the pro season. They talk about hitting the wall mentally and physically. They get about 2/3 of the way through the NBA season. This is by far the longest racing season that Martin Truex has ever experienced.
It really, these are long years, and it took me probably 7 years before I wasn't tired before the year was over. And it just, every year I'd get further into the year where I wasn't wore out and didn't hit the wall. And now it doesn't bother me. But it took me a good 7 years before I really felt good through the whole year. And I think Martin will. And then on top of that, Martin's been involved in a championship race. So he's had that stress and those pressures. And speaking of stress and pressure, we got something going on right here.
Yes,
but
we do.
I think that lengthened the year for him as well.
For the lead, McMurray trying to find a way to get around Kyle Busch with 13 laps to go.
Oh, no! Almost took out the leader, did John Graham. Oh, my goodness. And this caution flag is the break that Truex needed.
This is a game of inches right here. That right there almost took out the leader. Instead of it taking the leader out, that may have just won the race for the 5 car. His car is better on cold tires. There was a lot of pressure getting put on him. It looked like the pass was going to happen, and this caution came out. Now he gets a chance to cool his tires. This is a game of inches.
There we see Kyle Busch going in.
Yeah.
He was trying to get out. He made a mistake, but he made a mistake because he was trying to do the right thing. He saw the leaders coming. He got on the apron trying to get out of the way. You just can't run that far on the apron here at Phoenix getting into turn 3. You can do it in the middle of 1 and 2, but you can't do it getting into 3.
He got in the apron, which shot the car back up the racetrack, and then he had to jerk the steering wheel to avoid hitting the 5 car and spun himself out.
Yeah, but he, let's give him credit for trying to do the right thing and get out of the way of the leaders. He made a mistake, but he made a mistake in a good effort.
So the 8th caution flag is out in this race after John Graham avoided taking out the leaders, and we'll have a sprint to the finish when we come back. Tomorrow at 3 Eastern on NBC, NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing from here at Phoenix, presented by Subway. We start with Discover Card Countdown to Green, and the 5, maybe 8-way race for the Nextel Cup is down to just its final 3 races. Dave, it's going to get exciting here.
This break for Martin Truex to catch the leaders was a catch-22. He's been having some transmission troubles on the restart. He may have trouble shifting from 3rd to 4th.
I noticed on one of the restarts earlier in the day that he'd had a problem getting started.
Now we know why.
Now we know why. Thank you, Dave.
Not the time of the race that you want to have that problem, especially being the point leader. You miss a shift or you can't shift it, you're prone to get run over and be in a wreck. So there are a lot of reasons that that's a bad thing. Number 1, he might not be able to win a race. Number 2, he might get in a wreck.
This will be an 8-lap sprint to the finish, barring another caution flag. Can Kyle Busch hold off Jamie McMurray? What'll happen to Truex on the restart?
Truex laid back, trying to. He looks like he has the thing going. Here comes McMurray on the outside, going to the lead and has it.
Cleared him. See if the 5 can battle back. That's what he did the last time. The 41 got behind, but he battled right back and took it.
Kyle tried to protect the bottom in that first set of corners. Now with 7 laps to go, McMurray's out in front.
Car's doing okay, and here the 8 car all day long. He's in back around 5th, 8th. He's right behind the 5.
2 things going on in the 5 right now. Number 1, he just got passed. Number 2, he looks in the mirror. He hadn't seen Martin Truex all day long, and boom, there he is. So psychologically, that could be big.
Right up on the back bumper of McMurray is Kyle Busch. Not this time. Boy, McMurray got really wide off turn 2 last time. I thought that might have been the opening the 5 needed.
Well, he's running that high line, and Kyle Busch is going down on the bottom of the racetrack. McMurray is giving him the bottom of the racetrack down in 1 and 2. Here it is. If you're faster than I am, take it. Kyle Busch so far has not been able to do that.
Like we saw before, when you run the outside, it just lets the engine run better. And you just, even if the guy runs the same as you to the corner, you're going to beat him down the straightaway because it just makes the engine run so much better. And that's what Jamie's doing. He said, hey, take the bottom because I'm going to beat you to turn 3. And all day long, turn 3 is where the 5's been better. So Jamie wants as much gap between him and the 5 getting into 3.
Look, got a spin, turn 2, Shane Meal. And more.
59 car, Stacy Compton.
Caution flag is out.
Oh, McMurray did not want to see that.
No, he did not. This wreck started a lap before it happened.
Yes, it did.
Did not see him coming off turn 4, 3 wide or something?
3 wide, and then behind that got bottled up.
That was one of those, everybody could see it coming. Probably even the guys behind the wheel.
Oh, my goodness. That's close to contact there.
So the caution out with 4 laps to go.
Water coming out, just spouting out of the 32 car.
And he's putting water all over the racetrack.
All right, now this is in turn 3, 3/4 of a lap before the wreck.
Has ever seen the 00 of Rains and the 21 of Harvick make contact? Now here comes the 32 of Meal. Okay, they get side by side with Rains. Oh, wow. Shane just drove her down in the corner. And finally, he had to slow down so much to get under control. Harvick ran in the back of him.
Feed him up over the top of Compton.
Watch this again. Looked like he was on dirt going down the corner, didn't he?
He's really loose right there. He's doing all he can. He's just so slow. Harvick gets into the back of him. The rest are casualties.
Oh, man.
Feedable was trying to fly, wasn't he? This is how you drive the corner down in dirt. But this is not dirt, unfortunately.
Right now, Shane's thinking, whoo, I saved it. Wait a minute. I had it saved. You get wound up like that, they get so slow in front of you that, you know, Harvick got into the back of it, no doubt, but they just slowed down so much because Shane couldn't get back in the throttle.
Let's go on board with Shane Meal and listen.
That wasn't going to be pretty. Michael Waltrip's view.
Wow. Michael did a fantastic job to save that car.
Yeah, he did. A little green-white checkered rule here.
Yeah, we're going to go to overtime here at Phoenix. Is Shane Meal's car on pit road? Be lucky if they can get that repaired with that water streaming out from under it like we saw before.
They're going to burn this thing down, I'm afraid.
The official says you can't go anyplace. I don't know what the problem is, but the official's not going to let them move.
Well, the last restart, Kyle Busch was the leader. Jamie McMurray passed him outside in turns 1 and 2 for the lead. How about this one, Marty?
Alan, the crew was talking to Jamie. He said, you know what, everybody just be quiet for a moment. Let me concentrate on what I have to do. Clearly, they think they have a better car than Kyle if they can keep him behind him, though. Terribly mixed emotions for Brian Patty, the crew chief for Jamie McMurray. Of course, he wants to take Ganassi to the first ever Busch Series win, but he is the one who was Kyle Busch's first ever crew chief in a stock car. When they came into ARCA, he was his crew chief, and he developed him into the driver he is today. He had an integral part in making Kyle Busch everything he is today, so he really wants Kyle to win, but he'd rather have his own team win. Matt?
Marty, Lance McGrew still giving encouragement to Kyle Busch. In fact, he told us, look, if we end up finishing second, we finish second. That's the worst thing that's happened to us today. We'll just take it and go home. But I believe in you. You can still do it. We have the car that can still go to victory lane. Dave.
It continues to be an adventure for Martin Truex Jr. He made the restart. Transmission held on the last run, but he had something in his eye. He couldn't get it out for a long time. He said it's no fun driving with one eye. He said, I'm all right now. Alan?
That's terrible. When you get something in your eye driving a race car, it's awful. I had that happen actually in practice at Talladega this year. Something blew in my eye from the air conditioning in the helmet, and I had to quit. I couldn't run anymore. I couldn't see, and it is very. I've had that happen more times than I care to remember. It's very, very hard to do.
And he doesn't have that option of quitting.
No, he doesn't have it.
He couldn't quit.
Not for another 5 laps or so, anyway. So the championship duo that have dominated the NASCAR Busch Series this season so far, running second and third. Kyle Busch ahead of Martin Truex Jr. But the real story is going to be who will win this race.
Yes, it is. Wow.
Jamie McMurray getting the jump on Kyle Busch at the last restart, but a very determined 19-year-old driving that 5 car for Hendrick Motorsports. What can he do?
Well, you know, it seems like the 5 car is better on cold tires. And what I'm getting ready to say, it sounds kind of crazy, but the 41 looks a little better like for the first lap. It takes the 5 car just a minute to get going, and then he's better, and then after they run 20 or so, then the 41 gets better. So if the 41 can get the kind of jump he's gotten each of the last 2 times, he's going to be exceptionally hard to beat.
I'm interested to see what line the 41 takes when they threw the green flag and he goes down in turn 1. Is he going to go up and run that high line where he took the lead the last time, or is he going to protect the bottom of the racetrack so that Kyle Busch does get on beneath him?
That's a great question, because if you do open the bottom up, what you're saying is, hey, there it is, come get it. Well, he might go get it. And when he does it, you know, the right front fender or the left rear quarter panel, that never works very well. And with 2 to go, you got Kyle there needing to win a race, trying to win for Hendrick Motorsports, trying to win a championship. He is going to be very aggressive. And Jamie doesn't know what the right thing to do is now. Run that high line and get down there on the bottom. If I was Jamie, I'd run what's been working for me. I wouldn't change what I was doing. It's been working for me. I'd go do the same thing that I've been doing.
That from Jeff Burton, the 3-time winner here at Phoenix.
Well, I've lost a lot, too.
Yes. Work with me here. All right, they're going to be coming to the green flag, and it will be a green-white checker finish. They'll wave the green flag, run a lap, wave the white flag, run the final lap, provided there's not any more wrecking going on.
I sure hope they get those jet dryers off the racetrack up in 3 and 4 before they decide to go green. I guess they will. They wouldn't want to have that chicane to have to go around.
They have waved off the restart, BP. Didn't quite have enough time to finish the track cleaning job. Marty.
Hey, BP.
Yes.
Remember I told you Brian Patty likes to pace when they have a chance to win the race? Well, he's paced his way out of the pit box, and now nobody knows where he is. They're talking to him on the radio, but he won't tell anybody where he is. He's gone to an undisclosed location, so they won't find him. He's very superstitious, and now he's gone.
An undisclosed location.
Hey, guys, you were talking about who would be good and where they would pass on this very short run. The 8 car today has been very much a long-run car. Usually comes in 10 to 12 laps after the green flies. We don't have that much time now.
He's got 2 laps. Dave, that's all he has. Now, next time, green flag.
With the jet blowers off the racetrack.
Yes. Man, how about this 5 car?
BP, Lance McGrew just asked Kyle, which lane do you think the 41 is going to go? He goes, my guess is, I don't know, but my guess is probably the bottom, because that's where I have been running on the last few restarts. So we'll just have to wait and see.
That's what I'm thinking, that the 41 is going to try to block the 5 car by going on the bottom. But I kind of agree with you, Jeff, that he should go where he's been the best.
Go where you're fast. Be offensive, not defensive.
All right, let's see.
And go as fast as you can so you don't have to block.
2 laps to the checkered flag. Kyle Busch has dominated the day, but Jamie McMurray has the lead as they come to the restart.
Green.
Good start. Moore got a good start.
And Truex has the 8 car up to speed.
He took the bottom.
Took the bottom, tried to take that line away. And Busch gets loose off turn 2. That getting loose off turn 2 might have lost his momentum to catch the 41 car.
Now Kyle Busch might have to play a little defense as Truex is on his back bumper. White flag waving for Jamie McMurray.
Truex hadn't been in the hunt all day long, and there he is right on the back of the 5 car. Like I said before, that's got to be demoralizing for Kyle.
Half a lap to go. McMurray, Busch, Truex.
And I think that Kyle lost his momentum off turn 2 that first lap and just was never able to get it back.
Kyle Busch led 151 of the laps that'll be run today, but it's going to be Jamie McMurray scoring the win. Second win of 2004 for McMurray. And the championship duo finishing back-to-back in second and third.
And for the second week in a row, the 5 car, Kyle Busch, comes up second place when they want that win so desperately. Marty, Chip Ganassi finally has him a Busch Series victory.
He's won a lot of series, and he's celebrating. You won in the Busch Series finally, Chip.
Thanks, Marty. You know, my hat's off to Brian Patty and Andy Graves, and of course Jamie driving the car. Discount Tire, you can't thank enough people for what happened here this afternoon. I'll tell you, unbelievable.
It'd be nice if Brian was here for the celebration, wasn't it? He walked off.
You know how he is. He starts with his pacing, and you never know where he's going, you know.
All right, congratulations on the win. The 41 car goes to victory lane.
And the championship standings in the NASCAR Busch Series with 2 races to go. Darlington next Saturday, and then Homestead Miami Speedway in 2 weeks.
Well, Truex made a tremendous comeback. At one point, it was, what, 113-point difference.
And while we wait for the winner to get to victory lane, we check the final results from today's Bashas 200 here at Phoenix. McMurray with his 2nd win of 2004 and his 6th NASCAR Busch Series win out of 100 starts.
Ashton Lewis has another top 10 finish.
Kevin Harvick, we talked about him fading, wound up 13th at the checkered flag.
Paul Menard, a good run for him today. And J.J. Yaley, a local driver, finishes 15th.
Michael Waltrip 19th, despite involvement in that last little mess. And Wally finished the first car 1 lap down.
I don't have to wash his car after this one. I have about 1 more bullet to dodge, and I'll be okay. Stacy Compton, see him there?
A lot of these guys out of the race at the end of the day. Now Blaney involved in the early crash. Matt Yoakum.
And Martin's climbed out. You would have to sum this up as a good day.
Yeah, it was a great day. I just got to thank Bono and them guys. They just somehow get me out of trouble all the time, and I screwed up first pit stop and slid through my box. It's hard to see around that corner, and car wasn't that good at the beginning. We worked on it. He made some great adjustments, and it was just a great day. My car was really, really good at the end, and we needed long runs, and I think we'd had something for him. But congratulations to Jamie. He's a good friend and a great driver. Congratulations to him, and good day for us. Just proud of everybody. It's awesome.
Championship point leader scores another big point day. He finishes 3rd.
Looks like
Jamie
it's
McMurray.
A big Reese's victory celebration.
And he's climbed out of the car, got showered by his buddies already. And Jamie McMurray with a car that everyone thought could win, maybe would win today. Jamie, you brought home in first. Congratulations.
Yeah, we just couldn't go on the short go. It was really good on old tires, and Chip and Felix have done a really good job assembling this team. It's only the 5th or 6th race, and this is the home of discount tires, so really cool, man. It's cool to get to win like that.
He celebrates his 100th career NASCAR Busch Series start with a win, Alan.
We attempted to get a word with Kyle Busch. He has declined an interview at this point after the disappointing end of the day in which he came up in 2nd spot.
And I think he was terribly disappointed because it looked like he did have the race won. He could get in victory lane and honor the Hendrick organization. He wanted it badly.
So Jamie McMurray wins today here in Phoenix, and it's just the opener of our NASCAR doubleheader. Tomorrow at 3 Eastern, NASCAR Nextel Cup Series racing from Phoenix, presented by Subway. We start with Discover Card Countdown to Green, and hope you'll be with us for that. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, your local news. Then tonight on NBC, back-to-back episodes of the most outrageous game show moments, followed by a Law & Order Special Victims Unit. A lot of cautions today here in Phoenix. Good rally by the championship leader, Martin Truex Jr. Kyle Busch dominated the race, but in the end, Jamie McMurray got by on a restart with 8 laps to go and held on to score the victory. Talk to you tomorrow from Phoenix. You've been watching NASCAR on NBC.